Hey, everybody, this is Vince Gilligan, executive producer of Breaking Bad.
And I'm Bryan Cranston, Walter White.
Skip MacDonald, the editor.
Diane Mercer, producer.
Melissa Bernstein, co-executive producer.
And here we are in episode 1 of season 4. First episode.
Entitled Box Cutter.
Box Cutter, I wonder
Which
why.
has no significance whatsoever. I don't know why you came up with that. That's a great shot, by the way. Just to have it all fall apart like that.
We wanted to call it Stapler.
You did have an alternate title.
Did we?
You did. I remember you were you were brainstorming, but I actually can't right now remember what the other option was that you liked.
I will try to think of it. I'm trying to think of that while we're talking here. Mr. David Constable here, coming back, reprising his role as Gale Bedecker. We love Gale.
Yeah, that's great.
We love David and Gale. And, of course, working with Giancarlo Esposito here.
Yay.
That sound?
This was an interesting, I guess, kind of a challenge for Mark Freeborn, our production designer, and his crew, because this set had to be undressed. Typically, you dress a set with, add a lot of set dressing, a lot of, furniture, or in this case, factory accoutrements. But this sort of had to be undressed or dressed, pulled back to look like this factory. This factory lab here, the industrial lab, was brand new and just in the process of being put together. So I think there was. Do you remember, Melissa? There's some new paint involved or something like that, freshening up.
Yeah, particularly the floor. We didn't want to have any scuffs on the floor, and it affects the order of shooting because we wanted this to be first, obviously, before we put all the equipment back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The floor is always tricky in here because, your character, Bryan, being so persnickety in a good way and sometimes in a bad way, like in the episode Fly from season 3. There's lots of scuffs because there's hundreds of, there's all kinds of foot
Personnel
traffic.
and equipment.
Yeah, right.
Through, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's, there's always somebody. I would always see someone with the Swiffer going around, mopping up all the sneaker tracks everywhere because Walter White wouldn't allow stuff like that in his lab.
No, we also have standby painters coming in to do touch-ups if and when we've scuffed something a little too much.
Yeah.
Because our production designer is also persnickety in the best way possible.
We're kind of a persnickety production, actually, if you think about it.
That's true.
It may not sound like
I love these guys together.
Yeah.
I love David is such a great, both these guys, obviously.
Such a vulnerability to him.
Yeah, he's so sweet.
Yeah. I hate that about him.
I wish he could join us for one of these. He lives in New York. He was most certainly and would be invited. It's just we tape these in California. It's kind of tricky to arrange. And he's always working. He's like you. He's a working man. He's a working actor.
And he's also, I don't know if I can say that, his other occupation? Can we say it? He's a professor at NYU.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it like Shakespearean clowns
That
he specializes in? I'm not even joking.
Well, I think you're right.
Perhaps.
I mean, I didn't know he's teaching, but
In
that's
the graduate program at NYU, he's a professor of theater.
Wow.
That is so cool. I had no idea. That's great.
So like Shakespeare, wow. So, wow, interesting. Very, and he can play, he's very sweet and vulnerable here, but he played a really great, dark, scary villain on Damages. Great show and great character. He's like you. He's one of those guys who's got an amazing range. He can do all kinds of different, play pretty much any kind of character.
And in the background there is Jeremiah Bitsu. Bitsu, I think is how he...
Or Bitsui?
Bitsui?
Bitsui.
Actually, Native American.
Who
Wonderful actor we found in New Mexico.
spoiler alert, comes to kind of a bag. I got to figure if you're listening to this stuff, you've already seen the episode. Yeah, he comes to a bad end here.
Don't tell me that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wrote it for everybody. That was well done. That was good. Oh, hey, Skip, talk about that little bit right there.
Yeah, the gunshot that we stole from episode 13 of last year.
Yeah.
And then we put it in there and dissolved it between here to make him stretch him out some to get him back into that mood.
That's right, because we liked his reaction in there's a little dissolve there where his head seems to split in half, and there's like two Jessies there very quickly, because we loved that first reaction, but it was shorter, so we...
Yeah, just to extend his reaction from the gunshot.
I love how you do that stuff. That's great.
Well, thank you.
And originally, wasn't it scripted to just start in the black?
Good point.
And
Oh,
you
yes.
guys added all that.
Good point. Oh, and the 1013 just there, Diane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, talk how you did that.
We had to change the numbers on the clock to go from 1012 to 1013. So we just did a little digital fix there. It's little digital magic. It's kind of like Photoshop, but with moving footage.
It's amazing.
tell.
Just track it on there.
Is 1013?
Yeah, it's a little tip of the hat to my old boss, Chris Carter. 1013 Productions created the X-Files, and it's named 1013 because that is Chris Carter's birthday, October 13th. And so that was a little tip of the hat to him. This is John Barber, the gentleman on the phone, the neighbor, who, if folks of my age and thereabouts will remember the show Real People, John Barber was one of the, it was Skip Stevenson and John Barber, and there's a attractive blonde woman, and shoot. But I'm drawing a blank on all the names, but John Barber's one of the hosts. And it was fun. It was fun working with him. Yeah.
He was quite good at it.
Yeah, he did a great job. Unfortunately, poor Gail there, shot in the face.
An unfortunate end.
Yeah.
Poor Jesse couldn't even get out of the parking lot here.
And Adam Bernstein directed this episode. I wish, speaking of having David Costable here, I wish we could have Adam Bernstein here. But he just doesn't care enough.
That's what we're always saying about him.
He lives in New York, too. And he is always like, I don't want to talk about my process, for God's sake. He's great. Adam, I think Michelle MacLaren and then Adam Bernstein, or maybe Adam Bernstein and then Michelle MacLaren are two directors who have directed the most episodes of Breaking Bad. Adam did the first two episodes after the pilot, did them back to back. And I recently did that in season 4 here. I directed 2 episodes back to back, and I don't know how Adam did it. It almost damn near killed me.
It's tough.
Yeah. But he's a hell of a director. We got a lot of great directors. Mr. Cranston here being one of them. We got some excellent directors on this show. So now that he's not here, what's it like working with Jonathan Banks?
He's a curmudgeon. He's a wonderful curmudgeon. I like it. He acts all gruff.
Yeah.
He's a little pussycat.
He is. He's like a toasted marshmallow. He's got the crispy
Exactly, outside.
exterior and the soft
By the way,
gooey
I just
inside.
wanted to say, those chairs are incredibly uncomfortable.
Are they?
For some reason, they are slick. And so you sit down in them, and unless you're pushing back a little bit with your feet, you start slipping down in the whole chair. Yeah. These are the troubles that we go through.
We could have taped it to him.
I know. Velcro ass.
Velcro.
It's a thought for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't any more chairs. They burned up.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
spoiler
true.
alert.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh, don't give away the ending. I wonder if anyone ever watches one of these things like with the audio on for the first time they watch it. I can't
They
imagine.
shouldn't.
I think if they did it once, they'd learn not to do it again.
Yeah.
Don't do that
If
at
you
home.
are, stop now. Go back, turn the audio off. All right, you do a sweep. But this was a great little nuanced moment here where Walt assumes that because Jesse is being brought in under duress, that it didn't work out. And then all of a sudden we see
So what?
Victor's reaction, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why is he upset?
This young guy, I was always impressed with him. Going back to when I directed you guys in the last episode of season 3, Jeremiah. He's in a scene, and as he is here again, he's in a scene with some amazing actors who have quite a lot of years of experience. And he always he never folded. He never, I got to imagine that's tricky when he's a very fine actor himself, but he's a young guy who has not had the depth and breadth of experience certainly that you and Jonathan have had, nor Aaron either. And I got to think that he held his own pretty well and didn't get intimidated or cowed by working with you guys.
Oh,
I love these two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anna and Betsy are so much fun.
Are you coming in?
No, it's kind
They
of.
really do look like sisters to me. They always did. That was part of, the casting them was, wanted two ladies who look like sisters, but they always seem like sisters to me.
I don't know if I thought that at the beginning, but now as we're in our 5th season, they start to blend. Like spouses start to look like each other. I mean, you just start to accept. You go, yeah, they're sisters. It's the eye candy of the show right here.
I know. Like Betty and Veronica.
Look at those
And
beautiful
tall
eyes.
drinks of water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes, they're both 6 foot 8 inches
I
tall.
know. Aaron hates to stand next to them because
They're not that tall,
he
but they're
looks
tall.
like a grade school boy next to them.
I love how we do this. This is Betsy there standing on our soundstage there. This is our stage set. Our guys who built it and designed it did such a great job here. Those are all fake hedges. I mean, I guess they're real, but they bring them in, and it's all. This is all inside a building here, inside a soundstage building, but it intercuts nicely, as you'll see coming up here with the real exterior of the real White House.
Howdy do to Mr. I'm Not Here.
So a fun little ad lib from Betsy, too.
Yeah, that was cute. Although I think it was in the script.
that really?
I think so.
I don't think
Now
so.
we're at the real.
Big howdy do to
We're at
Mr.
the
Emineur.
real place.
Yeah, this is a real
location in Albuquerque.
Yeah, see, it blends nicely. That was a real place there with her in the close up. Yeah,
Yeah, they do a great job.
yeah. So Skip, talking about editing an episode. What is it? How long does it take? Is it you do an editor's cut and then there's a director's cut and then?
Yeah, we usually have, once they finish shooting, we have 2 days or 3 days to get our cut together and present it to the director. And then we have 4 days with the director. And then it moves on to the producers and then the studio and the network. So it's usually about a 3-week process, I think.
So you get notes at each step of the way.
Yes.
So your soul is crushed just a little bit more.
And then
Every pass.
once the director releases his cut, it goes to the executive producer, and he completely ruins it.
That's true.
And how about with Adam Bernstein, because he's out of New York? How does...
Yeah, sometimes we do it over the phone. We also do it through the internet, where he has a monitor and he can watch what I'm doing, and we communicate that way. And so he can see what the cuts are and what changes we make and what works and doesn't work for him. And,
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's tricky doing that over the phone. I got to think, because it's just like giving notes. So it's so much better. I love working with you and with Kelly, just being in the room with you guys. But the few times we've done it over a phone or over a, some sort of video link or something, it's just it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's not as nice having somebody in the room, but we make it work. And
That's
Skip, we did an episode together where we exchanged emails.
yes.
Because it was kind of before the format was created that we could actually view it.
Right.
And I'm in New Mexico. He's in Los Angeles, and we exchanged copious notes on emails, and he sends me a cut, and I write more. And that's frustrating.
It's a pain having to put something visual into words. It's more fun to start with the words and then have it turn into something visual. But then when you got to give notes on cuts, it's writing them out is a big pain in the butt to me anyway.
Yeah.
And more effective, too, if you just feel it.
Yeah.
You get in a room with your editor and you just feel what should happen.
Yeah. And I'm so poorly spoken in the editing room. Skip can attest. I'm like, it's shorter. I cut.
Trim it here.
Trim.
How about take off that half frame?
Yeah. Just a scooch.
That's your.
Scoot
You like
shorter.
that word. That is
scooch.
one of your favorite words.
It's a
Scooch.
it's a technical term.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, scooch
It is
shorter.
now.
And Diane, you are Skip's boss. You run the post production.
Oh, it's a team. It's a team.
It's a
not-
team. It's a team. I hear you yelling at him.
Once we're in post, Diane is all of our bosses.
Yes, that's true.
Unfortunately, that is true.
But Diane runs post production, and there's so many fixes to be done in any given episode in post. Among the many other things you do, there's always like that little 1013 that needed to be digitally animated in, or sometimes there'll be. I'm trying to remember some on this one. There's
We have there's There's a few in here.
Yeah.
The beard.
The beard.
Oh, talk about the beard. You guys talk about the beard, yeah.
It was. I'll take full responsibility with that one. Was doing a film, and there was a pickup shot that we needed to get on the movie Contagion that I was in, where I was clean shaven, and so very early on I had to shave, and we thought, well, we'll just have they'll pay for a beard to go on temporarily while I grow my real hair back, and for the rest of the season. Well, that's a great plan, but the problem is that beards and the lace that the fake beards and the lace that they're connected to are not meant to go over growing hair.
Right,
they're
right.
meant to go over skin.
Yeah, yeah.
And so as my hair started growing out, not quite full, on this episode, that's a fake mustache and beard. And it couldn't stick. It didn't stick properly, so that you see close-ups of me, and it's like flapping, and I move my mouth. Oh,
yeah.
God, it was a pain. So that's the last time we're going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
And
very
our makeup
difficult.
artist, Frida Valenzuela, would sweep in there every moment that she possibly could, but it was a very
And
complicated
try
and
to
intense
glue
scene.
it back down and press it back down onto my mouth. Yeah.
Can they use super glue?
So what was the process on that, Diane? How did you fix it?
For that, it's actually very painstaking. They have to go in and track. You know, they basically take a piece of the beard from where it looks good, and they cover it, you know, where it doesn't look good, and they track it so that it follows your face. It follows all of your movements exactly. And it's a pretty painstaking process.
A frame by frame thing. Where
It's not sometimes it does have to be frame by frame, but if we're lucky, there's good tracking marks, and it will kind of do a lot of it automatically.
Okay.
And so some shots are harder than others. If it's a really quick shot, you can usually kind of track it automatically. But we have a wonderful artist named Jay Segimoto who works at our post house, Keep Me Posted, and he did all of those really detailed shots, and you can't tell. I mean, I think it looks amazing.
Right on. Excellent. Here's Lavelle Crawford and Tina Parker. This is our introduction to Huell, named, of course, after Huell Hauser.
What do you mean, of course?
Of course. Well, what other Huell is it?
You're going to have to explain who Huell Hauser is to people who don't live in California.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
I don't know California's gold.
Oh, my goodness.
He does a PBS program.
Here
and
we-
he's just a nice guy.
Here we
I think
are
he's
in
from
Cayuga.
Arkansas.
I know. I love Huell Hauser.
Yeah.
I love him. He makes me feel good. He makes me happy. But we named, he looks nothing like Lavelle Crawford, but we just love the name Huell.
And that touch of Saul moving the column
I know,
was, I remember
yeah.
something Adam,
Yeah.
came
It's
up with in
fantastic.
rehearsal,
Yeah.
which was really fun.
Yeah.
It just shows how phony that is and how phony he is.
Yeah.
It was a perfect little character bit.
It was.
There was another little fix in there when his mic pack fell out of his pants there.
Oh, see,
remember
that's
that?
right. That's right.
Yeah, Saul got up and his mic pack fell out of his pant leg onto the floor.
Right.
And we had to paint that up.
Had to
as well.
digitally erase it.
So, yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
That's funny. And then here, this was a fun little bit of a little cheat. And this is not actually This is a whole other section of town from where Saul's actual exterior of Saul's office is. A whole different section. This is a stretch on Central Avenue, Nob Hill, or just on the edge of Nob Hill. But we took we rented the balloon here, the Statue of Liberty. We put it on top of a Firestone tire place. And it, you can't really tell. It looks like they're behind his strip mall officer.
But it's a bit more visual and
Yeah.
Really nice.
And also, it worked out for a lot of reasons. A lot of times with you do something like that because you're already in a certain part of town. You don't want to move all the trucks at a cost of many tens of thousands of dollars and hours of time lost. So, because this is right down the street, actually, where we shoot here.
Right. So for the sake of production, we try to fill out the day completely.
Yeah.
If we're going outside of our stages, we need to make sure that we take the best advantage.
Exactly.
I love that shot. Look at it. It's just
I know.
completely dark.
Michael
And everything
Slovis.
is silhouetted. We already know the characters, so we don't need to see clearly their faces and things.
Excellent
at that.
puppet baby there.
I know. Looks almost real.
Animatronic.
How many babies have we gone through so far in the seasons?
How many survived?
That's a well-kept secret.
Yeah. How many would you say, Melissa?
We usually have like 3 to 4 in the mix at any given time.
Right.
And we have to, as they get too big, because our story is compressed into such a short time,
Yeah.
then we start to cycle smaller babies into the mix.
Yes.
I would say like 16, maybe something like that. Is it something?
We've tried clamping the babies with
Now-
clamps to keep them from growing.
And is the
but-
baby really crying here? Is that?
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And
There were, 3 different babies used in this scene, but one of them was crying.
Yeah.
And we just decided to go with that.
Yeah,
And now that's not a real baby. It can't be a real baby right there.
it is, I think. Yeah.
No,
Oh, no,
that's
not
not
when
a
you-
real baby.
You think?
No, it's not.
Well, now, what do you mean?
Well,
That's a doll.
when you show it's away,
Well,
then
but
And then,
that's got to
Right.
be a doll.
yeah,
baby.
it's depending on which shot you're using.
yeah, it's depending on which shot. John Lawler here, by the way, did a very nice job.
Yeah.
Good.
See, really crying.
This actor did a great
Yeah,
job.
he did.
He
Very
was
nice
a
work.
Very sweet guy. I enjoyed talking to him in between takes.
Oh, you're a lifesaver. Truly.
And now, Skip, that's tricky because editing-wise, the baby was crying in certain takes, but not crying in others. So you got
Right.
to extend out some of that crying. It's just, I remember it was a real pain in the butt for you.
Yeah, we have to find the crying that doesn't sound like it's repeated all the time. So it hopefully makes it sound smoother with the baby crying.
Yeah.
And then our fabulous Nick Forshager goes in and fixes it all. Our
That's
sound
true.
supervisor. He
That's true.
makes
Nick
it
is
beautiful.
a wonderfully talented guy.
Do you notice the art direction there? Right there, that shot.
Oh, the
Our logo
checkerboard.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, little sneaky surprises all over.
We are fortunate to have a new addition to our audio commentary here.
No, I've
Just-
been here for a while.
Another new addition. Another. That's right. Yeah. Oh, you were here the whole time.
Jeez.
And I have been too.
Oh, well, welcome, Mr. Giancarlo Esposito. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be
Yay.
here. Good to see you all.
Great to have you.
Late as usual.
Yes, as usual.
Well, better late than never. Wonderful to have
Oh,
you.
thank you.
You got some stuff coming up to talk about, my friend.
Excellent.
So big stuff coming up.
Now, this is interesting. Well, you include this holdover from the previous season.
Yeah.
And this is the first episode of season 4. So did you just put that in there wondering, oh, we may use it later on, or it may come into play, we may not? I don't think we see that again in season 4, do we?
You're probably right. It's something, we love echoes of the past in the show. We love, things that resonate from past seasons and past episodes because, in some sense we see all these episodes as one long, instead of, 40, so far we've done 46 episodes, instead of 46 individual little stories, I see it in a sense as one big story broken up into 46 different hours. And it's fun hearkening back to, and not to get, artsy fartsy about it, but that is a pretty good representation of Walt's guilt, the eye of the universe on him kind of thing. And so it's fun to, have those callbacks.
How was PT?
Who's this asshole?
You could say that as long as you don't hum it or sing it.
Dean Norris. I love this guy.
And a lot of effort went
Betsy
into creating this room and the state of disarray.
Now, maybe we can explain that, Melissa. This is actually a practical location. The exterior that you saw of this house is one of the bedrooms in that very house. And why did we use that as opposed to building this on a stage?
Well, I mean, we always look at what would be, the least expensive and which works best for our schedule. But when we are here shooting this bedroom, we get the exterior, we get the hallway shots, and we use so many other pieces of that house that it ends up being worthwhile to go to the location. And, this is a wonderful, couple that we rent this house from, too. And they've
Right.
been so cooperative with us, too, which
Fred
is
and June.
incredibly
Fred and June.
helpful.
They're great folks.
Now, it requires the owner's cooperation because if they said, no, we only want you to shoot the exterior, then You have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, or we'd be on. I think that would absolutely factor into being on stage more. But you see, it gives us a lot of scope. You get to see out the windows, and it's that's part of what Vince strives for on the show, to really feel like this is
It's real.
Yeah.
How much of the house was in terms of? I love the color schemes that are going on in this home. A lot of purple, a lot of deep blues, and it ties into some of the wardrobe that's happening there. How much of that is already in the house or was changed?
And I mean, purple was not a factor in the house at all. They let us come in, and it speaks to how cooperative they are. There's an accent wall that we painted purple that they leave up while we're not there, which is very kind of them. And then, all the set deck we bring in, from pots to comforters.
Carefully placed computer screen.
This is just a little, we took this from real life. This is the way Dean uses the bathroom, pretty much. This has various crew people.
Dean Norris is so lazy. He doesn't even want to get up and walk to the bathroom.
We watched.
You're ruining a heartbreaking moment.
We watched the PA have to do this, and we thought, my writers, we thought, yeah, what the hell? Let's put this in the story. So
his assistants only last for like one episode, and then he has to get another one because they won't tolerate that.
No, he was a trooper.
Another great shot here.
Yeah, great shot.
Yes.
Dean was a trooper. Dean and Betsy both were. That was an uncomfortable scene for probably to shoot, and just but very, very touching and moving.
Well, but it also showed the depth of where they are in their relationship. That this is what it's come to.
Yeah.
She actually has to help him go to the bathroom.
Yeah. No, it's
embarrassing.
No, it's tough. There's Gail's little shout out here to Gail's coffee machine that he built way back when. Or Gail.
Bet he forgets the aluminum.
That was fun.
So very Walt.
Yeah, look at that.
Idiot. I just forgot the aluminum.
Yeah, see, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Forgot the aluminum.
Poor Jesse's catatonic.
Yeah.
One of the first steps in.
So Skip, this act is just when I saw the whole episode, but particularly this act, when I watched your cut, I watched yours. I actually watched the cut that you had done with the editor, Adam Bernstein. I don't think I touched a frame of this act. I mean, this act is so,
Yeah.
I had no notes. It's just this. I have not that many to begin with because you always do great work and the directors do great work. But this whole scene, this whole thing is just like a play. This whole act,
Yeah, this was an incredible act to cut. It was, just Adam did a great job directing it, but the pieces we had to work with were just really great. And, the thing about this act, it's one scene where, Jesse still hasn't said a word.
Yeah. And now this gentleman
doesn't say a word.
Not a word.
But speaks volumes.
Yes.
Wow, wonderfully edited and wonderfully acted by every gentleman in this scene. So Mr. Esposito, what's it like being in a scene this long without a word of dialogue? Is that more fun, less fun? Is it just different? Is it?
Oh, to me, it's more fun.
Yeah.
I was so excited to read this episode and really chilled me when I did. I had to put it down for about 3 days before I could pick it up again. But one of the things that I was really looking forward to was not saying anything. Letting my body and my eyes and everything speak volumes. And it reminded me of being on stage in the theater and being able to control that moment without any words is a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of people think that acting is when you're speaking, and so much of the conversation and sending a message is what he's doing here. He's commanding attention to him by not saying a word. And that's what helped me get more nervous in thinking about this, because he's not saying anything. So it's almost like you get nervous, you have to fill the void.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That space, that uncomfortable space.
Yeah.
Didn't deserve it at all.
How long did you gentlemen remember how long it took was this 1 day of shooting this whole scene, or was it more than that, or was it less, or?
This was 1.5 days.
Yeah, I think we did 1.5 or 2 days because there were several scenes that led up to this and then afterwards. So there was a few days shooting in the super lab here.
Gotcha.
This is on you, Gus. Not me, not Jesse. Gail's death is on you.
This is such a long scene. Was it all done in one uninterrupted piece over and over again, or did you guys break it up into parts? Or
We started to try to do uninterrupted pieces, and then eventually we broke it up for the different shots because this scene is so filmic and the camera's in so many different places.
right?
Whatever it is you're planning.
I heard Aaron was asleep through a long
He was.
stretch of
His entire time. He was texting. He looks down. He's texting as this is going on.
Us without Jesse.
No, it's just. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He finally wakes up there.
He finally wakes
I love it. Takes a look.
Oh, the guy's gonna kill me. All
It's a
right.
demented Mr. Rogers. Take him get dressed.
That's right.
Absolutely.
It's like the beginning of Mr. Rogers when he puts on his. Yeah, right.
Know every step to his cook.
Oh!
Aaron's so good, and Jonathan. All you guys are so. Oh man, you're all just on all cylinders here. It's just great.
I think everyone was excited to be coming back in
Yeah.
at the beginning of this season.
That's right.
There was a lot of energy going on, and I kept resisting being affable when the camera went out. Hi, how are you? Catching up with everyone. People started asking me, are you okay? I said, yeah, I just want to stay in this moment and honor this.
Well, this brings up a good question, Giancarlo, because for folks out there listening to this who have not had the pleasure of meeting you, you are such a sweet, warm person who's so in touch with his emotions in such a positive way. And Gus Fring is such a poker player, and such chess and poker are his two games. But I mean, he's so poker-faced, and he is so in touch with darker aspects. What do you draw on to play a character like this when you're not this guy?
Well, actors, I mean, I really feel like we love to act, and there's something that does to our adrenaline, our systems. And so I really wanted to try to practice getting away from that and just being. I think some of the best actors they just live it. They just are. So I try to get Giancarlo out of the way and let some of those other aspects come to me.
Interesting.
And the more that he drops into that guy, the more fearful I feel.
Yeah.
And just looking at him and playing off him. So we feed off each other in that way.
Wow. Did we miss enantiomerically?
We did.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
sorry.
right. You guys were talking.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting for that too.
Yeah.
Sorry. You want to say it again?
Enantiomerically. There was a word that actor. Well, I'm going to go into it after this because it's just the tension of this building
Is that a real blade there, or was it?
Yeah, that's a real blade there.
Because you got to be careful with shit like
Very
this.
careful.
If you're in the moment.
At moments when it's close to another actor's face or body, then we change out.
Well, I truly got the feeling on this day that certain people didn't quite trust me with that. I was wondering why.
This was a great idea, Giancarlo, you had to stand in front of your potential victim here, not your ultimate victim here, and not behind him. That was, or not next to him. This was a very good idea.
So it doesn't forecast that.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like ballet here. To see you do this move where you're in front of him and then you go behind him.
Yeah.
It works so great, and it I don't know how much did you have to practice that? How did you do that?
Well, there were a lot of variables. We went into this. Oh, lovely.
This is hard to watch every time. I've seen this 100 times, and Skip's seen it 1,000 times, and it's still hard to watch every time. But this was a combination of makeup effect by wonderful talents of K&B effects, Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger.
And Garrett Immel was the prosthetic artist on set with us that day.
God, did a great
Just
job.
a little splattering of blood.
Yeah.
That's
Just a
great.
little.
I truly sing these guys' praises. They do such a realistic job and really so much attention to detail. There was so much blood here, and one of the issues was I don't know if Bryan, you even know about this, was the boot thing. I had said I was a size 11, and I guess I lied. And I couldn't get purchase in all this blood on the floor, and I wanted to make that move very smooth, but I was sliding.
Oh,
There was
it's very slippery.
some issues that went behind that. And they actually gave me your boots. I don't know if you ever realized that.
Oh, no.
And then they were taken away. Because they were Bryan's boots. You can't use those.
Well, that's what you get for lying about your size.
We were also deciding about white boots until the very last minute.
That's
Because
correct.
there was
It's correct. They're
I
the
thought
boots.
that they would show more blood.
Well, not to, and I remember thinking, gee, I wish we hadn't had a red floor.
Uh-huh.
But you know what?
No.
You see plenty enough blood in this thing.
Yeah.
Any more would have been even more. That's
And
a great shot.
Oh,
This is great.
Terrific.
We just have to move the wallabies just a touch to
That's
get
a great shot. That's Adam Bernstein just always knowing where to put the camera. That's just this whole scene is so hard to watch. And then that amazing prosthetic work, as any prosthetic work typically needs just a little touch of help digitally. Diane, was that?
Yeah, all we did was the easiest way it turned out to do it was just to have the prosthetic already there, and then we erase it before
It appears.
Giancarlo reveals it.
Gotcha.
So it was a combination of great effects, practical effects, great acting, and a little bit of digital polishing. That was
So,
all.
Diane, when you say erase it, what does that mean?
It's on his neck, and you just kind of reveal it with your arm, and there's just like
The
a split
entry
second
point.
of the actual gash already prosthetically applied, and we just take a piece of skin and digitally cover. We match the skin and digitally cover it.
Wow.
And reveal it as your arm moves away.
Frame by frame,
Frame
you're
by
adding
frame,
a little bit of, or revealing a little bit of
Revealing.
what's already there.
Yeah.
Like a magic trick.
Because in order to start that scene, it had to already be gapped, right?
It
Right.
ends up being cheaper, easier, faster to do it that way than to have to reveal it with the makeup, and
Right.
so it just works well.
Truly excellent.
This is a relatively new thing. I mean, you watch movies from the early 80s or mid 80s, horror movies or any kind of movies, and everything had to be done purely prosthetically and in camera. You didn't have this ability, this marvelous ability that we have now to digitally affect every frame of the. I love this. This is your one line.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful. There's your one line.
Well, get back to work.
What a badass.
But Adam I noticed he pulls the camera back a tiny bit on that walk up. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
beautiful.
Just breathing it back a little. That's nice.
What's great is that the character kept us all so off guard.
Yeah.
Not even Jonathan Banks knew what the heck is going on
Yeah.
here, what to do.
Well, speaking of Jonathan, that little bit when he points the gun at his own boss,
Yeah.
I remember hearing, because I'm typically not on the set, I'm in the writer's room, but I remember hearing from Melissa, that's the way it worked, and I thought, oh boy, that's
gonna be a problem.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought hearing it potentially would be, but then seeing it's perfect.
It's a reaction.
Yeah.
Yes, it really works.
It's a real honest reaction, and yeah.
I remember Giancarlo was covered with blood, and we weren't expecting that. And that was a choice. Did we want to commit to that or
That's
not?
right.
Yeah. Because we didn't want it to go too over the top into, torture porn or horror movie tropes, but no, it was perfect.
And now an opportunity for a little to lighten how to dispose of a body.
Yeah. Now talk about, Bryan, the fact that I love how Jonathan comes over and helps, but talk about why that happened.
Well, because we couldn't get him in. I mean, this is truly us struggling. The thing is moving away, and it's real. And you go, yes, it's top heavy.
Yeah.
The bulk of his weight is outside the barrel still.
Right.
It's a slick floor. We can't do it.
So you honestly couldn't do it.
We couldn't do it.
That was a real reaction right there.
Come on. This is how are we going to do it? And we said, well, let's play it really. Is that he's reluctant to help out. That's not what he does. And then he comes in and just instructs.
And then he walks away immediately.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's a great touch. And none of that's in the script. And that was all. I mean, it's in the script. They're putting a body in a barrel, but that Jonathan helping and all that, just wonderful. And that little bit of dialogue you guys all
And
had.
also help with a little bit of levity.
Yeah.
Just to lighten it up after such a heavy scene.
Yeah.
Now, that's not Jeremiah in there.
Oh, it's not?
Oh.
Oh. It's a photo double? Well done. I love this shot. I think this is with the 5D probably, with the the video camera that we use occasionally for shots like that.
Yeah, I think that shot we had to stabilize a little because when the gun hit, it shook quite a bit.
It shook the camera, yeah. You see a little shake left, but I love that little bit of shake. It adds a little. Oh, this is what we call the lava lamp shot. I wish Mark Freeborn was here.
Yeah.
I think he put a bunch of. What did he put in here, Melissa? Do you remember to make this effect?
Oh, God.
Little objects and things, but there's also monofilament above that are being pulled and out from the outside of the container to make it rise and fall.
It was Mark Werner Heinlein from our special effects department sort of combination effort that we tested.
Yeah.
And I think we looked at a lot of different items in the barrel.
By the way, the person in the barrel, I think, was Al Godo, our stunt coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Who, would take the brunt of all that cold chemical stuff being poured on him and dumped it. Classic. Wiping up. Nice. There's an great old TV movie called Night of the Scarecrow that has a cut similar to that. And I was sort of pitching that to Adam. Can you get a cut from? It's a fun old movie, Night of the Scarecrow, I think it's called.
Get you anything else?
This is a real Denny's waitress.
Yes.
She did a very nice job.
At a Denny's right there on Central and across from University of New Mexico.
That's right.
And it was not product placement, correct?
This was not.
I just need to clarify that.
There was some article in the Hollywood Reporter or someplace, Variety, I don't know where it was, but talking about the product placement of Denny's. And Denny's was very nice to let us shoot there, but we were lucky to get it. Just seemed like the perfect ironic place to go after you've, I loved it. By the way, I was here this day, one of the few days. This was
our first shot of the 4th season.
Exactly.
Wow. Very first day. And now explain a little bit about the matching clothes and
Vince, aren't those T-shirts that you actually bought?
I bought these T-shirts. I was my girlfriend Holly and I were on a couple of years before, a year and a half before, we were up on a trip to Taos, New Mexico, and we stopped in a Walmart. And I saw these T-shirts, these Kenny Rogers T-shirts, and I could not resist. I bought every one they had. and I was in line, and this woman behind me was like looking at all these identical Kenny Rogers T-shirts I'm buying, and she was like, Kenny Rogers. And I was like, yeah, I love him so.
Little gambler.
As a producer, you were buying multiples.
And I was buying multiples. And she said, any more of them back there? I said... he's loved the world over, Mr. Rogers is. But Kathleen DeToro, our wonderful costume designer, had the thought of putting the large sticker in the corner there. She thought of those did not come with the shirt. She thought of adding those. But you guys had been so preoccupied you hadn't even pulled off the stickers,
right.
The size sticker. And she found the matching white pants and the matching red sneakers. And I think the idea, I think this confused people, I think the idea here is that these guys, you and Jesse here, could not leave the super lab covered with blood as you were. And so not liking you very much, but not wanting you to be caught by the police, Mike went out and grabbed the first fucking thing he could find at Walmart and, let you look like a couple of idiots here, but, didn't want you covered in a dead person's blood, because that would trace back to him somehow.
Is it a Pulp Fiction nod at all? Or?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. That great scene at the end of Pulp Fiction when they're Travolta and Sam Jackson are both wearing...
banana slugs.
Yeah, right.
What page is that?
Yeah, maybe it's a little tip of the hat to that. Great movie.
The one that says, if I can't kill you.
Aaron's first dialogue in the episode here.
Yeah.
He's great here. You guys are great.
It's just so interesting how, after a traumatic experience like that, he's eating away, sipping on soda, and I'm like, I couldn't
Orange soda.
do any of that.
That was his idea, which was good. I said, I drank a Coke. He says, could I drink orange soda? I was like, no. You demanding actor, you.
Brilliant move.
By the way, I had the best moons over my hammy sandwich I've ever had.
This is a nod to last season with the cousins, with the boot.
With the boot coming out of there.
Yeah.
Ah.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thanks.
So like that's Loop Group, right,
That was Loop
Diane?
Group, yeah.
When you hear "Have a good one,
Yeah.
taxi driver," that's one of your. What's the Loop Group folks?
Hans Tester is our group manager, and I think that was actually Al Rodrigo. I think is the guy who did that voice. For us.
It was a cold morning that morning.
It was.
You can see your breath.
It was
Yeah.
sometime in January, I believe, that we started this.
Oh. Well, you guys are troopers for hearing your T-shirt here. Do you put anything else underneath there? Do you...
I can't tell. I can't tell you that. It's a secret.
Trade secret.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably wearing some long underwear underneath the shirt and pants.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nice little ad lib. That was nice.
You okay?
I love the way you react here.
Right as rain.
That's great. This is so undersold. It's just great. Underplayed, whatever the word is. It's not hit too hard.
It's parked 3 blocks down on the right.
And we got a very new Skylar here in the sense that in the past, when you disappeared like that, she called out the cavalry.
Mm-hmm.
Great song here. Diane, who was this Thomas Gold?
Thomas found this. It's Alex Eberts, and the song is Truth.
That was your idea there, Bryan, to have a pair of pants that was one size too big.
Well, several sizes too big, but so that they would actually start to fall down as I'm walking away.
That was great.
And that was another nod. You know, that's like he didn't care about what sizes. He just grabbed it here.
And these are real, God bless them, a lot of these extras here are real Albuquerque forensic men and women,
really?
folks who do this for a living.
That's perfect.
Because, you love to have that kind of, I always want to have that kind of technical accuracy, have these people, doing stuff that actually, even if we don't know what they do for a living or how they do it, somehow watch someone real do it versus fake, it makes all the difference.
Wow. Just like every episode, it seems to go by so fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a beautifully written episode, Vince.
Thank you very much.
Really beautiful.
Agreed.
Well, thank you guys for just delivering the hell out of it and making it so much more than what it was on the page. So very much more. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for everybody listening.
Thank you.
See you next time.